have it up since I switched to browsers. Um,
I downloaded that Brave browser and try that thing out. The one that's in the notes.
yeah, it looks cool, right?
Yeah, it does. I'm gonna try it out. I just downloaded it before, just before. I'm not using it at the moment, but
Right.
explored it a little bit, see what it's
Yeah.
about.
Word.
But I noticed that it comes up with that Ethereum stuff. So is it like this safe Bitcoin mining
Yeah, I
cryptocurrency
don't
thing?
know. I definitely want to look into it to see exactly what that's all about. But there's definitely it was an interesting week of new stuff. So I kind of dug some of the things that I saw. So we should be really good tonight. Just opening up the dock. Got the water on the side. So yeah, got the water on the side. Word. How you making? Are you good?
I think so. I hope so.
Okay.
Trying this. Ah, Sick.
It should be good. I don't think this will be 3 hours.
Oh, really?
I don't think so. I don't think so. It would be really interesting if this goes 3 hours. Is that our average now? Or the average is 2.5?
No, I want to say it's
I,
like around 2 to 2.5.
yeah.
Three and a half. That was.
Yeah,
Boy, did
that
we have
last
a
one
lot to
was
say.
crazy. Huh?
Boy, did we have a lot to say.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, yo, what happened that day? What was that?
Not
What day
disappointed
was
though
I?
at the same time. What is that, Saturday?
Huh?
I think it was a
Yeah.
Saturday.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was running on fumes, man. Like, yo, what up?
Hey, Shanto.
I was running on fumes and I was like, you know what? I don't care. Let's go another 2 hours. I could have gone another 2 hours. That's how I think that I'm biased, but I think that was one of the best ones. But I'm biased. Like that 3 hour, I don't know, it felt like forever, but it felt great at the same time. When I was done, I was like, wow, that was dope. I don't know what happened, but it was really dope. So, but no, I don't think tonight will be 3 hours though. So I got new tech. I definitely want to talk about that. A couple of things for you guys tonight. Episode 396 of the show radio.
This tweet. Oh my goodness. I cannot type.
What up, Try? What's up, man? What's up, Ashento? What's
We're at
going on? Thanks for joining us.
396. Yeah, 396.
Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for rocking with us tonight. We
All
got
right.
some stuff to talk about. Definitely post your questions, your comments, your thoughts, your
I think
red
I'm ready.
herrings, your word.
All right. I'm ready.
You are ready. Oh, I see you tweeted that too. All right. So then I guess I should get ready, right?
Maybe it'd be good.
Maybe. All right. So you fired up already? You on the? I see it. All right. Cool. So let me pause that to make sure I don't get any feedback. All right. So 396. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the show radio, sharing the biggest stories of tech, gaming, and entertainment. I'm your host Andrew,
Hey guys, I'm Danny.
and this is your source for tech, gaming, and entertainment news. I'm excited about tonight, 396 of the show radio. Definitely a lot to cover. A lot has happened this week, but definitely want to find out, touch base with Daniela first. Guys in the chat, definitely appreciate you hanging out. Daniela, what is up?
Um, man,
What's
I've
up?
I don't know. I'm in this weird space. I feel like everything that I touch is just breaking around me. And I know don't say the word cursed, but you
Thank
know
you.
what? I just okay, it's bad luck. I don't know what else to call it other than bad luck. Like I have stuff at work that's having problems. I have stuff on my stuff here. I think my PS4 is pretty much has like almost both feet out the door to being
What do you
replaced.
mean? What happened to the PS4?
Well, okay, remember how I told you that my PS4 beeps and yells at me when I turn on my Xbox and it has all these other things? So
Yes.
Tuesday, I really wanted to play some Monster Hunter and I was ready to, and I had no video out. I had audio, kind of,
Okay.
but no video. And I had to, like, I spent, Shento says yell back. But
Right.
I did it kind of yell at it. It was like really super frustrated. So I ended up taking it apart, cleaning it out, dusting it, cleaning out the ports, and it worked. But by that time, it
You
was
took it
about
apart?
yeah, I did take it apart, and it still beats at me occasionally. It does.
Okay.
Like the other day, I finished. I was able to play A Way Out, PS4. Really great game. We could talk about that later if you want to. But I got it to play. And it's funny. It's like it doesn't like having certain discs put inside and played. It'll spit it out. Before I just thought it was all discs. No, it's just some disc. Really
Okay.
weird. So when I was playing A Way Out, it was like beeping at me and it was trying to eject like discs, but there was no disc in there. And I put a disc in there. It was like, oh, okay. No, that's fine. It stopped. It stopped doing that. I'm like, this is. I need to replace my PS4.
Okay. So is this the first time you opened a PS4 to clean it out and stuff?
No, I've opened it before. Except I think I've never had to go that deep into it to just be like, okay, we're gonna take it apart.
Okay, I'm
I'll
trying to
check on
understand
you.
why you didn't like send it for repair and why did you open it?
I don't know. Like I can't be without my PS4 at the same time. Like I don't want to send it over there and then I don't know how long it's gonna be gone and then it's like, oh yeah, here, just replace it. I'm going to hold
Right.
on to it and like MacGyver everything I possibly can before I give up and just
Okay.
replace. I
All right. Fair enough.
I'm that kind of stubborn. And then not even that, just even before the show, for whatever reason, my audio is so weird and I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I should
You don't
just
know.
stop touching things and revert back to just using pen and paper.
No, we're not gonna do that. We can't do that. But definitely a lot to talk about. We will add a way out into the docket for tonight. That's all good. We definitely want to talk about Spider-Man for sure. Samsung Galaxy S9. Want to talk a little bit about that. That's going to be exciting stuff and quite a buzz around Facebook. What else we got? Valve and Steam machines, Cloudflare. We'll talk a little bit about that. Skype is on the docket, interestingly enough, which Plex is on there, and a whole lot more. Word. So definitely, you guys in chat, you guys listening, wherever you're listening from, thank you so much. You can also add us on Alexa, theshowradio.info/Alexa. You can say, Alexa, enable the Show Radio podcast. You can do that. And wherever you find podcasts, you'll find our show, The Show Radio. So that's what's going on with that. A couple of things that we did see. You can also, as I'm thinking about it, submit your questions, community at theshowradio.info. Join our Discord family. We definitely want to grow that. We want you in there. We want to answer questions, that kind of thing in that space. So we're definitely mentioning that a little bit more. But the first thing that I want to highlight, the low light of the YouTube headquarters thing. So Daniela, let's kind of like chop that up a little bit.
That I never know how much of the story to fully believe because I think news outlets can sometimes twist information to make it sound so much more dramatic. And I'm not talking about necessarily just like alternative facts or fake news, but it's always that drama that fuels behind it. So yeah, YouTube was recently in a shooting, which I guess originally when you were getting the news live, there was a fatality, but it was more like injuries, and it had to do with a female, which is kind of actually new. Mostly lately, a lot of the shootings have been a lot of males, and I won't really go into gender. I don't, well, not gender, but race. I feel like when it comes to shootings, I don't pay attention to the race. I don't care if it's a black guy, a white guy, but this one actually happened to be a female, and I was kind of surprised by that. Not that they're not capable of doing it. I'm just so used to hearing male. So that one caught me off guard. But I guess it had to do a lot with how YouTube was monetizing her or not monetizing her. I don't know the full story about it, but I thought it was interesting because like she was vegan and that's what her content was about. I'm like, all right, I would think that most hippies and vegans are pretty much the nicest people I know, but I'm sure there's some triggering points for them that will set them off. And apparently, I guess her brother tried warning the police about it and they didn't do anything about it beforehand. So it's kind of, it's crazy and it's sad just to hear overall. And I hate that it is slowly becoming almost a regular thing to hear about a shooting now in so many different places, schools, churches, work, YouTube. I hate that that's almost becoming a norm.
Yeah, it's I think you brought that story to my attention when I was browsing the web, whatever I was doing that day. And you were like, "Hey, you sent over the link," and I was like, "Wow, wasn't expecting that at all." A couple of things I did see. Obviously, they're going to do the security thing. They're going to up that and that in their headquarters and also the other buildings that are connected to the YouTube stuff. So the woman thing is very interesting. I'm actually fresh off a mental illness class this past weekend, certification course thing. So that in and of itself is really interesting. The psychology behind the individuals and how they rationalize things. So I'll just leave it there. In terms of, I'll just go back to the context of the YouTube thing. Um, I was surprised also that it was a female because typically the percentage is usually male for the stuff that we've seen for the shootings and these kind of situations. The fact that she was vegan and they felt like mentioning that, and I think that there was an article I was reading with the Parkland um, guy where the heading of the tweets, an orphaned blah blah blah, but they never identified that the killer was you know mass Parkland shooting, but they kind of like bring it, they humanize it as if we're supposed to feel sorry for the way they tag like certain conversations. So because he was an orphan, am I supposed to feel bad that he just went inside of school and killed a whole bunch of individuals, right? So you have that whole thing. So the fact that she was vegan, what was the point of saying that? And the fact that YouTube demonetized, if you want to say that, or removed a certain status based on numbers, if you want to say that, just by way of context. A lot of individuals, right? Everybody got their email, and they said, I think it was like February, the end of February, or whatever it was, that you're not going to have the ability to do this, this, and that. So, I didn't see a whole bunch of people run out and do that with YouTube or any other individuals because they weren't their videos weren't up to par according to YouTube's algorithms and stuff like that. So it's really interesting. So now it's like, okay, so should we focus on the mental illness or health factor of it, or should we just look at the facts for what they are, depending on if we're actually being presented the actual facts, right? Versus the conversation that's actually surrounding the YouTube headquarters thing, the Parkland thing, et cetera, et cetera. And even one of the articles that we have later on dealing with the serial, podcast guy that was in jail for a long time for that whole thing. And then they did the serial podcast behind it, which we'll talk about later. So it's an interesting conversation, and I think that it can get really, really touchy if it's not analyzed and presented in a particular way, and then people will get into feelings and that kind of a thing. So yeah, that's really where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I will always feel bad. Like our prayers and thoughts are with all the employees at the YouTube headquarters. Um, I just wish that when it came to news, and I think this is a incredibly long shot, and I think you have to go to pretty much indie news outlets if you want straightforward facts. Because like you said, like there's certain key elements and key words that are added to things to make you feel a certain way. And it really shouldn't be like that. I'm a person who feeds off of direct facts. I don't need to know if, said shooter was an orphan. It doesn't change the fact of what he did. It's not going to make me feel bad. And it shouldn't. But that is me, and for a lot of majority, it is. It's gonna affect the way that they view it, and they are gonna pull that pity factor. And I really dislike that about um, popular news outlets, no matter who they
Right.
are.
I mean, it's just even a couple of days ago, maybe a week or two ago, I was having a conversation with Try, and one of the things that we are saying was the way we consume news, the news that we consume, I should say, whether it's the Fox and the CNNs, what's being shown here, right, for us, appeals to us for the ratings that they get, right? So it's contextualized for us. So we're like you said, we're not going to get things like the Somalia thing that happened, which was crazy, a couple of weeks ago. That wasn't really covered, right? Or the other stuff that's happening in South Africa right now that's really not being covered. Yes, it's international, but there are branches of CNN, to my understanding. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. There's an international thing when you're in the app for CNN, and then there's the domestic or local thing, for that. So, but even in that, what's highlighted as the top 5, top 4 news articles, for whatever's happening, internationally as well as locally, it may not be quote unquote the biggest stories, right? At, but every story is big. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of tough to. So yeah, so I understand it's kind of tough to try to get everything and cover everything, but what we see covered here, as far as the media for us in the states, appeals to that. Um, I'm not gonna say demographic, but okay. So well, I couldn't say demographic includes all demographics of what really sells. It's kind of twisted way of looking at it, but the news that are really doing big headlines in the UK may not necessarily do the same headlines here for the Foxes and the CNNs, and because of that, they won't be covered. But that doesn't mean that they're not big stories, right? That's essentially what I'm trying to get at. So it's tough. It's sad, but it's a tough thing.
To move on, Mr. Rav in chat, thank you for showing up. I'm glad you made
What's up,
happened to
Rob?
make it to our live show. And he also says, yeah, her being a vegan is meaningless. Her motive was a demonetization of her videos, and besides the obvious, mental health.
Yeah. So that's really what it is with that. So definitely it's sad, and as you mentioned, it seems like it's a normal occurrence right now, and I'm almost afraid at times to go certain places But at the same time, Americans lately have been really, and I use American, as broad as you can use it. They've been really nice to me. Like it's it's weird. And here's what I mean by that. Like I was in a coffee shop today and I was actually looking for like, the hazelnut or different things like that. And then the guy, he handed me the thing. And I don't think that's ever happened before. People are holding doors. They're saying thank you when you hold the door. I don't know. Something's happening in the space. And I'm in New York. And that's interesting to see that kind of response to normal interactions with human beings, in the store and in the street. So to me, I guess I'm more aware of it now than I've ever been. Maybe because of the way things are taking place in our leadership for this country. Uh, but it's just an interesting time, and whether I'm driving or going to the store, anyway, that kind of thing. So Facebook. Well, before I jump into Facebook, any last thoughts on that before we jump to Facebook?
I guess too. Well, Rob also says also Google's algorithm inherit. Oh my goodness, I cannot talk today. Mr. Rob says also Google's algorithm is inherently biased to your political biases. Google will try and predict websites you would like and skew the searches so you see more links that would appeal to you.
Hmm, interesting.
Yeah, I can see
So
that.
so my thing is, I try to look at. I think I like Reuters and I like BBC because of the range of different things that they cover. But that's just me. Well, go ahead, Daniel.
Water, that's what I need. All right, I got nothing else on that one. We can move on because we're just all about scandals here.
Yeah. Apparently, so that's what's going on with that. Facebook scandal hits 87 million. I guess it was definitely lower before that. It hit the 87 million. Mark Zuckerberg believes North American users of his platform deserves a lower. I can't even speak either. What's going on? A lower data protection standard than people everywhere else in the world. Any comments on those things?
I don't know why we deserve a lower protection standard. I think it
What
should
does that
be.
even mean?
I don't know. Like it makes me feel like just that alone. It makes me feel like so we're not worth that protection. Is it because we just give up those rights and the rest of the world has really the rest of the world has stricter internet restrictions than we have. And I don't know if that has to do with because in America we just want our freedom over so many things that we willingly give up those protections without really thinking about it. Because I think it's later on, like the UK has stricter privacy protections than America does, and that's kind of obvious.
All right. So even with this, right? I was listening to a conversation with Tim Cook, and he was on Recode, the podcast, right? And big interview. Educational people represented, and a whole bunch of other people represented that particular conversation. And one of the lines that he said as I was listening to the conversation is, "We do not make you the product like they do." Essentially, is what he was saying. So on Facebook, you are the product. So they test you, you know, quote unquote, however they see fit. And at this stage in the game with Facebook, you have to take matters into your own hands of what you're willing to put up with, right? As the product. So now you see a lot of big websites or brands, disconnect their account from Facebook and move away from that platform. But if we were to be realistic about what's happening, those brands may come back because the advertising platform on Facebook is one of the most powerful ones right now. And at this stage in the game, it's underpriced. And because it's underpriced, we, whether it's an indie company or whatever it is, can easily maximize our dollar on the Facebook platform as far as advertisement are concerned. and really benefit from that. And the ROI would be really great. Now, the thing is now, which was a recent conversation I was having as well, is if the Nikes and Under Armours and all those companies decide to put 20% of their advertising dollars in the Facebook ad system, then that price for the Facebook ad system will go up, and we won't get the prices that we're getting right now while it's underpriced, right? So the point is all the big companies who are moving away from the platform, they're most likely going to come back because Instagram is underpriced, Facebook is underpriced, and our attention is on our devices. We're not really watching commercials. So whether they want to make a statement to leave and then wait till everything gets back in order and then come back, that's one thing. But as far as this whole Facebook thing is concerned, you have to take matters into your own hands. Now, if you're a brand, most of the brands are going to stay for the simple fact of what I just mentioned. The ads are underpriced. You're going to get a big bang for your money, and that's just what the situation is right now with Facebook. So whether you want to be the product or you want to be on the Apple side where they do not treat their customers as the product, then it is what it is. But that conversation is going to be that conversation is great marketing for Apple, right? But because Facebook is an agnostic app, right? It's not platform. It's not exclusive on a particular thing. I think that's going to work out over time based on that conversation. So it's weird right now. It's weird that everybody's speaking on it. Mark Zuckerberg supposedly going to be speaking with Congress about it soon. So I definitely want to hear the additional conversation that's going to happen with that.
Yeah, I think it's just mainly paying attention to what's happening. I do notice a lot of friends, not so much my family members, but a lot of friends who are just quitting Facebook in general and they're going to other social platforms. Hey, if you want to keep in touch with me, this is the way to do it. The problem with that is, and I feel like those people who are deactivating and closing their Facebook account, they will go back to it. Not because they really want to, is that currently Facebook is the only platform right now that has everything that it has. It has the way of keeping up to date, it has the photo sharing, it has the video sharing, and you have a full content profile for yourself. Unless everybody suddenly just decides, let's just go back to MySpace. I don't know. But
No, that's not going to happen.
that's all that's all there really is. I mean, to have that, I guess that full experience again. Oh man, I guess everybody would have to sign up for Twitter, Instagram, create a blog for their incredibly long nonsense posts that I really hate having to
Right.
see on my wall. But I mean, nobody's willing to have that many social media, or at least having to keep up with specific people in such a manner. Like they have to be pretty darn special. I have them all, but I'm not going to expect my family or my friends to like, hey, add me on all of these to keep up to date on my life.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
like,
So
I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous, and I think people should like pay attention to what's happening with Facebook, see what the issue is, and decide for themselves if that's a service that they want to keep for themselves personally. Me, I'm
right.
still on the fence. I mean, I don't nearly post or share nearly as much information about anything, and websites or apps that have that Facebook login option, I actually don't even use it. So I don't even have my Facebook profile tied to any other app or service or provider that could take that information in a way. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like even what we have here, Mark Zuckerberg will appear before the House Energy and Commerce Committee next Wednesday to answer questions about the Cambridge Analytica controversy. So that's big, right? So the next thing, so Wednesday, so Wednesday's gonna be an interesting day for me. So I got to see what plays out with that. So we're looking at, I'm definitely gonna watch the video or whatever the VOD that's going to be available for that when it comes out on Wednesday. So definitely want to see how the answers come out and what he's planning to do with that whole thing. So
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg's not a very well liked guy right now, and not having a really great month to start off with.
nah, it's pretty bad. A video game industry lobby group is joining the lawsuit that seeks to reinstate net neutrality rules in the U.S., saying that the net neutrality repeal could harm multiplayer online games that require robust internet connections. I don't know. I don't know. I see. I have. It seems like most of the things that we're going to be talking about are kind of interlinked, but I want to hear your thoughts on this first before I say anything else.
It makes sense. And I mean, if there's any group, any company, any group of companies that can possibly help push further along the reinstatement of net neutrality, it would be the video game industry. Because that is, yeah, we have the single player experience, but their bread and butter is the multiplayers. It is. And they see that. And we know that that's going to affect a lot of gamers and how their internet is provided to them, and especially for those who only have one option in the area. So we'll see how that plays out, how that goes. That is something that I'm, sad to say, a little bit more interested in about than the Facebook stuff. So I hope something good comes from it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, close eye on that. We'll keep a close eye on that to see exactly what happens with that whole thing. Now, I believe it's the ESA that's looking this that's working on this thing. Yeah, I think it's the ESA. So we'll be on the lookout for that. So it's interesting that the news the news that are coming out, especially in tech, is so weighted on, like, even there's even another lawsuit that was what do you call that, that was settled recently. I think that was the video game stuff, but a lot of the news are so weighed down with so many different layers that span a couple of years, like even the thing with the serial guy that we're going to talk about later, and then making shifts that are not necessarily addressing why the shifts are being made. The thing with Valve, right? So one of the recent things that we saw with Valve is they removed links to Steam machines from the site's main navigation bar. So people were like, "Well, why would you do that? Are you not focusing on the product anymore? Or are you actually, So what's the whole thing with that?" Now, the Steam machines got a lot of buzz when they were first announced and priced and placed on the website, but ever since then, there was I would say not necessarily, it wasn't as there was no more buzz for it, right? Conversation about it was really low key, and they're making adjustments, but they're saying that they're not um, going away from the machine itself. I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that.
Um, yeah, like you were saying, there was a lot of hype for it. There was a lot of build up for it, and a lot of people talking about it. I still have yet to meet a single person and know a single person that owns one. So maybe they assume since so much buzz was not there, not so much interest, at least from my experience, not so much interest in it, that then when they removed it, nobody would really notice. But now that people do, I mean, obviously they're going to make this big issue over it to see like, oh, what's happening? This is interesting. Why did you do that? But they said that it's not dead. So what can they be doing? Are you repricing it, or are you doing respects? Just like, it's very interesting. I thought the price points were weird. I don't know. They weren't very attractive to me, and I think that was like one of the things that was an issue, was the price point on it. I mean, I'd
Mm.
rather just build my own PC at that point. Not that everybody could do that, but I don't know. I guess we'll see where it goes from there. I mean, that's all we can really do with a lot of stuff. I even then, even if they remarket it, rebrand it, and they do this whole price scheme change on it, I still think it's kind of like a dead thing to have that Steam machine. I like my Steam Link,
Right.
but I think that was definitely more popular than their machines itself.
Yeah, I think, and that went on sale a couple of times too. I think, for 2 or 3 times it was like 5.99 or 4.99 or something like that.
Yeah, which
A
is a
couple of times.
great, it's a great price.
Yeah. So my thing is, I don't know. I'm feeling very like marketing and salesy today. I don't know. I don't know what that's all about. But moving it, out of sight, out of mind, sales are most likely down on them, or they've been down for a long time. They're trying to move in a new direction, like Boss Key, which we'll talk about Boss Key later on. But and the easiest way to do that is to move it. You know, that just makes sense to me. But that's all I have there. Cloudflare's DNS service. Are you planning to use it? 1.1.1.1. Are you planning to use that?
Maybe.
Okay.
Really? There's apparently a lot of things I need to go and look into and consider for myself. Is that something you're switching to? Upgrade to?
No, I have the other one, the security filter one. I can't think of the name of it right now. OpenDNS, that's what it is. I use OpenDNS on a network, and that has the filtering. It will check boxes of all the different things: low security, mid security, high security. So I've been using OpenDNS for the last couple of years. I like it. Um, if it offers a similar, what do you call it, GUI, right? A similar screen where you can access all that data and make all those restrictions on it, I'll consider it. If it doesn't, then I probably won't consider it.
I just need to try them out and see what best fits me. But here we go.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm just thinking. I think that the thing with it too is they usually rank the speed of the DNS services. So now that Cloudflare, I don't know if that's a refresh for them or that's brand new. I gotta look at the article again, but the article is going to be in the show notes. The All of them are supposed to make your internet speed faster, right? I call it reaction time, but I don't know where this ranks with the stuff that's already out because I know Google has their DNS, and I'm sure there's plenty that I don't know all the names of. Cloudflare has theirs, OpenDNS has theirs, so we'll have to see exactly. I won't switch. I need the filters for the house. I think that's very important for me, especially with the way everything is set up here. I have my daughter and myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want all that stuff out. There's certain things I just don't want to see. But that's just me. What up,
Oh, we got.
nasty?
What up, Nasty? He says, "What's up, guys? Hope all's well, bro. UPS was closed today." Oh, that's only
Oh,
personal.
what up? It's all good. It's all good. And I
Oh,
appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. So yeah, so that's what's going on with the Cloudflare stuff. So Meta Mask, you started checking that out. So let us know what your findings.
me? Oh, I don't know yet. I have to test it out. I'm probably gonna let you know, like, probably next week. I've never used it before, but I'm gonna dive into it.
Right.
Initially, it looks pretty cool.
Should we
It
announce what's
does.
happening next week?
Yeah, and if you want to, or we can save it for the end. I mean, we should. Period.
Yeah,
But
we'll save it for the end. We'll definitely save it for the end.
um,
That's definitely that's definitely the percentage of that is really high right now because next week is going to be crazy for me. So but yeah, we'll talk about that later. MetaMask. Okay, MetaMask is your key to what some call Web 3.0 or the blockchain based decentralized internet. Gonna have a link in the show notes for that. Flash video downloader, if that's your thing, gonna have a link in the show notes for that. Twitter's token limit, I guess that's French. I had an E in there, and limit. Wipes Flamingo client from your Google App Store. Any comments on any of those things, Daniela?
wow, you just threw all this information at me. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I feel like so lost today. I don't know why. Because I'm
What's the
like still
matter?
look.
You want to
I'm
talk
still
about? Let's talk
no.
about
I
it.
was
What's
just
the
still
matter?
reading about the MetaMask thing because I think that's a really cool new browser that I'm just trying to learn. First of all, like the MetaMask thing. Let's go back to this MetaMask thing. It's like this new browser that's coming out that's supposed to like make your speed so much better, be better. It throws me off because the
Very
first thing
secure.
it says is brings Ethereum to your browser, and I don't know a whole lot about the cryptocurrencies or bit
Right.
mining, but I do know the word Ethereum is in there somewhere as one of the cryptocurrencies, and I'm still trying to wrap my brain around that in itself. Like that's
Right.
blowing up, that's going and it's doing this whole thing. So to have this browser and then it's there, I'm like, does that tie into it? Is it for safer browsing? Is it for like, am I going to install this, try this out, think it's cool, and somehow someone has, you know, been mining software running in the background because I'm using the browser and I don't know about it.
Yeah. So I watched a little video that they had, and it looks like it's interesting stuff. I'll say that. It's definitely interesting stuff. And in terms of using the browser, I have to see if I think there's a Linux version, and I have to see if I can even install it properly, that kind of a thing. So there's definitely a lot going there. So you're gonna report back. You're gonna look into it and
Yeah,
report back.
I'm gonna try it out. I will, and it also has some Chrome extensions. So there's a browser, but then you can also, if you want to stick with Chrome, have the extension to use it. I don't know. I gotta go and play around with this more. I do have it installed. So I'm not using it for the notes or having it on the thing for today because I'm still need to log into these things. And the sad thing is about what having your password saved to different things. As I don't remember what they are when I have to go and log into them. And I was not
Mm-hmm.
ready to go. I'm like, all right, I gotta go figure this out over again.
Okay,
But
so passwords. Did you use any? Are you using any password managers right now?
no, but you're gonna go and tell me about yours. I know you are. They're like that big grid,
What?
like, yeah, yeah, I love mine.
Of course I am. Which one am I gonna mention?
I forgot the name.
Last pass.
Yes.
You know it. You know it. They're not paying me to say this either. I just really enjoy it. Their platform is really good. But yeah, I think you should. I think if you do, you will absolutely love it because it gives you a security and that's your world too. So it gives you a security challenge, and then you go through the security challenge and you test all your passwords. It gives you all the passwords that are duplicates, and if they are duplicates, it gives you the opportunity to change them. It tells you all the passwords that are weak. I mean, it's cool. It's really cool, and I dig it. Flash, a video downloader that's going to be in the show notes. Twitter's token limit wipes Flamingo client from the Google App Store. Now, the Flamingo Twitter client, to me, in my opinion, is one of the best Twitter clients that used to be on the App Store. So I think, according to the thing, you get a certain token limit for the app itself, and once it reaches that token limit, then they pull the app off of the App Store. And I think that's sad because Twitter is cracking down on any app that is a competitor to them. And that's what's happening. Once the limit is reached for the token limit, I guess downloading limit or purchasing limit for that particular app, then it gets pulled. And the recent one that got pulled is Flamingo. And I have Flamingo. I got it a couple of months ago, and I've really really enjoyed it as a client. I do not run the Twitter client. I used to, but I'm sure there's other ways to get Flamingo, maybe as an APK or anything like that. And hopefully that still allows you to use the app the way it's intended to be used if you get it as an APK. But time will tell. Any comments on that?
I'm gonna be honest. I've never heard of Flamingo. I've never.
It's
I
pretty
don't
dope.
use. I don't think I've used the Twitter app on my phone. I don't know for how long.
Yeah,
A lot of years. I want to say it's more than 5 years. I use Talon for mine.
Talent is
Talon,
dope.
yeah, Talon is my Twitter app, and I love it. I've never heard of Flamingo, but yeah, I can
Yeah,
see Twitter being so super competitive. I don't even know what the Twitter app looks like. I remember when I early on, and I want to say it was my Galaxy S4, I think it was, and I tried to use the native Twitter app in there. I hated it. I didn't like the way it looked. I didn't like the way it ran. I didn't like its functions, and that's why I was really quick to find a replacement. So I can understand why Twitter would want to limit that. I didn't realize that they had a token limit on it, to be honest.
yeah,
But it makes sense if they want people to go back and use it. I know my boyfriend uses the Twitter app itself, and I look at it, and I'm still like, yeah, it still looks ugly.
yeah. It's sad. Well, I mean, if there's still ways to get it as an APK, then definitely consider doing that. It's definitely a beautiful app, very customizable, that kind of a thing. So that's what's going on with that. What else did I have? I think I had something else there, but maybe it'll come back to me. Amazon's music storage will remove your MP3 files on April 30th. Any comments on that?
I don't have any music stored on Amazon.
Yeah, I bought music. I don't know if I have any music stored on Google Play. I do, but I barely listen to those. But that's what's happening there. Skype content creator mode. Okay, Daniela, go ahead. You can go first on this one.
I'm kind of curious about this.
Okay.
So it uses the NDI technology, which is kind of what I use for XSplit for our overlays in a sense. So I know it works great. I'm very interested about this. And I think Skype is getting that message because a lot of podcasters decided moving away from using Skype for video purposes. Audio is okay. Video purposes, I see a lot of people switching over to the Discord like we have. We did start on Skype, moved to Google Hangouts, and now we're on Discord. Um, I think they sense like we're doing something wrong. We got to change it. So I don't think this is live now. I went to go check out and make sure on my desktop app, and it wasn't on there. It's supposedly going to be out, slowly rolling out in the summer. I wouldn't be opposed to trying it out and see how it fits our needs, but it's Skype.
Right.
It's
Right.
Skype, and it's I've always had this issue with Skype. There's always been something about it that it it misses that key element, and something always goes wrong.
Right. And okay, so the thing is the implementation of the stuff coming from, certain companies, right? The bigger the company, the slower it is for them to make changes. You could look at like the Kodak Instagram thing, right? How does a small company come out of nowhere and destroy Kodak, right? So the bigger the ship, the slower it moves, the slower it turns, that kind of a thing, whether you want to take a Titanic or anything like that. So the fact that it took 15 years, I think it was, according to the information that the article was talking about, it took 15 years to get to a point to realize that this was a thing. And I think a couple of, maybe about a year ago, they were testing different things as it relates to, like, obviously new interfaces and stuff like that for Skype, but never to the point where they actually did a content creator mode, right? This is like big. This is a big deal, but it only took 15 years. And in the last 15 years, we've seen some apps come, some apps go, and we've seen some make major strides. We've seen, what was it, Curse, the company? Did Curse become Discord or so, whatever?
No, no.
Something happened
Curse became or was bought out by Twitch. So now
by
it's
Twitch,
now
right?
it's the
Right.
Twitch app.
Thank you. Right. So then you have all the companies that were making a different, I'll say telecom stuff. Then you have the Telegrams, you have the WhatsApps, and you have all the other apps that came along, but some of them just stayed, right? Like Discord is here to stay. Not only can you have a conversation over it like we're doing now, you can build great communities around that, right? So you have that. So seeing the change, the slow change, I don't know if individuals are going to be that excited to go back to Skype, right? and I think that's to be determined with this content creator mode.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about it only because I'm interested about it. I'm always gonna want to try out whatever new and is updated to see if it would fit our needs. My only problem with it is that I've always had a better experience with the Skype. I don't know what the proper word is. It um, just the normal downloadable app that you go to their website, you download it, and you install that. I've never had a fluid, solid experience with the desktop app, the Windows 10, like the one that is automatically installed with Windows 10 and it's part of their whole package. I've never had a great experience with that. I always have problems. And this content creator mode is only going to be available on that desktop app for Windows 10. So if you have like the normal install that happens to be like, I guess you would have it on Linux, right? Or if you have it
Right.
on Mac, I don't think you're going to have that option available to you, at least not initially. I don't think I've read anywhere yet saying that it'd be available on all those other platforms. Content
Right.
creator mode is only going to be on there. So that leads me to believe. So if you're having a Skype conversation with somebody who is on Linux, do you still have that as long as you're like the originator of the call is on Windows 10? So that'd be something that you and I would have to test out because you don't.
Right.
I use Windows and you don't. So that'd be something interesting to play around with and try out. And then the overlays that they have available for it, they don't say or mention if it's customizable in any way. So again, we just have to wait, try it out, play with it because I happen to like our setup here.
Yeah.
I do notice that it only listed three different broadcasting softwares on there. I don't remember what the third one. I know the first one was Wirecast. XSplit is one of them. It did not list OBS on there. I do remember that. I can't remember what the third option was. I'll bring that up right now.
Well, that eliminates
Um,
a whole bunch of people, doesn't it?
it does because not a lot of people want to pay for XSplit. So it's Wirecast, XSplit, and vMix. All of these are things that you have to pay for, services that you have to pay for. And not a lot of people want to do that, and especially when you have OBS and Streamlabs OBS, which is free. That can change, but it has to do with this NDI, which is a different input that you use. And there's not a lot of services that use NDI. XSplit has from the very beginning. Wirecast has too. I'm not very familiar with vMix, and only now recently is some brands or apps making it available on OBS, or OBS is making it available for those apps to use the NDI option on there. That's something that's still slowly rolling out. So we shall see if that's going to be available on OBS or not.
It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So I'm not really excited about it right now. I need to see more. And we'll be looking to see what happens with that. So also did see an app called New Pipe. Sounds very interesting. Watch YouTube videos without ads for free with this app called New Pipe. I'm gonna have a link in the show notes for that. And then next one, Google adding Wi-Fi and data calling beta test. Any comments on those two things?
I'll give the new pipe thing a try. Anything that I don't have to select no on YouTube's darn thing of would you like to try YouTube Red? No, I don't. Leave me alone.
You sure?
Yes, I wish there was this like a forever no option. Stop asking me. But
Yeah,
I do miss YouTube that with that ads. Granted, for content creators, ads is what helps them, make their money.
word.
I don't like ads.
So, so you still like YouTube, right, or no?
I do.
It's
I
all
do.
good.
I just that it's annoying to see ads, and it's annoying. I'm more okay with seeing the ads, especially since I have the skip option after what 5 seconds or whatever.
Five
I
seconds. Yeah.
hate the pop up. I hate that pop up of like, hey, try YouTube Red, try this. I don't want to. Leave me
Yeah,
alone.
it's pretty annoying. It's pretty annoying. Google has banned the term Cody from its autocomplete feature, meaning those who look for information on the set top box will have to type out the full term in order to search the term Cody. Any comments on that?
Are you that lazy? Then type it out. I want to know the person that's upset about this right now, okay?
It's really
Because
long to type Cody. I'm telling you.
even if you don't remember the full URL, it's not like Google completely removed Cody from its search engines. It just removed the option to autocomplete these four letters. So you can still type out Cody. It'll still bring up the search page for the website. You can click that first link. I mean, really, it's four letters. I want to see the person that's upset over four letters.
Mm, Cody. So there's that. Plex comes to Samsung VR, and definitely one more topic in that particular thing. But I definitely want to hear from you guys, whether you're listening to a podcast or the guys in chat right now, some of your thoughts on the previous topics that we mentioned before we hit the entertainment section. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to type your thoughts in regards to some of the things we talked about, whether it was the Google stuff or the Skype thing. You know, your thoughts on that. You know, the Meta Mask, the Cloudflare. Definitely want to see your thoughts and engage with you guys in the chat before we move on to the next thing. While you guys are prepping your thoughts on that, I had to do wheel bearings this week on the Beamer. That was interesting. Now it sounds the way it's intended to sound, pure, unadulterated, straight six engine sound, right? Which is amazing. So I'm having a lot of fun with that. Uh, and I need to wash the car, but I'm kind of waiting for the weather to break, really. So yeah, just random car news there.
I washed my car in the rain.
You wash your
Not
car where?
in the rain.
In the rain? Oh
Yeah,
yeah, okay. Yeah,
I
yeah,
do.
yeah.
Well,
I've done that.
it's not even to just conserve water. I mean, yeah, that's a great benefit to it, but it's
Right.
more of when it dries, when it's rinsed off with rainwater, you don't get the hard water spot. So I don't feel so worried to quickly dry my car before the water dries on it from the sun or from the heat.
Okay.
Because then I don't, that's less that I have to polish.
Now I think it's an awesome thing to do it in the rain because I've done that a couple of times too, and it's so much easier. So much. The rain shows up, you do your thing, and if you need to dry it a little bit after the rain is gone, I think that's really dope. So there's that. Okay, so there's the car thing. But the other thing too is I am really enjoying um shopping. Okay. I didn't realize I knew I liked it. I just don't like being in the store for like 20 hours, like some people when they shop. So I know what I like. I know what I'm going for. I'm even putting together, this a list of all my sizes. So whenever I'm in the vicinity of something that may pertain to me, whether it's the shoes, the shirts, the belts, and I have all those sizes, in a little notepad or maybe on LastPass, maybe a secure note or something like that, Daniela. And from there, you know, execute whatever I need to execute. So so here's what happened, right? So I was in Kohl's recently, and I don't know if I ever shared this with you, but I think I have. So Converse, right? The brand, I like them. I didn't realize how much until recently. And but the shoe itself, when I get it, cannot have white on the midsole. I think that's what you call the side profile, right? The midsole can't have any white on there. So go to the store, go to the clearance section, and then lo and behold, there's this awesome Converse waiting for me. And I'm like, wow, what are the odds that this is my size? This is the color I like. So I had to buy it. Anyway, that's all I have with that. Fun times.
I like shopping. I just need to stop this period.
You just need to stop. Period.
Yeah, that's it.
It's fun. It's really fun. So nothing from the chat. Everybody's chilling. That's all good. So we'll move on. Entertainment news. Isao Takahata, the legendary anime director and co-founder of Studio Ghibli, which is an amazing studio, put out amazing content. You know more than I do. Recently passed away. He was 82, and I think that just the realism in the anime, if you want to say quality, if that even makes any sense, of the production that they put out, Studio Ghibli is one of the top, if not top two, top three, arguably. Maybe that can be argued. Studios in the world. Daniel, your thoughts on that?
He lived a very full life. It's sad. Yes, it is incredibly sad to hear of anybody passing away. It's definitely a very different feeling to hear somebody that passes away from that creates stuff that you grew up with, that you grown to love. Um, it's not that the studio is going to be left in any less of hands. They're going to still produce amazing things, but he was just one of the people that contributed to it so very much. But at the same time, I'm grateful for this man being able to live a very full life. 82 years, I feel, is a nice age. Nobody wants to pass away, nobody wants to die, but he did a lot. He contributed a lot. He had a very fulfilling life, and he contributed a lot to the world, to the company, and to many lives. And I'm appreciative of that.
Yeah, we definitely have something in common with him. He's gonna live forever, and we are too.
It, it's sad. It is. No matter what. No matter how you say it.
It is. It is. So in the minds of all the individuals who consume the content and everything that he was a part of, he's definitely gonna live on for sure. So I wanted to put that up first before we go into the rest of the news, even though when I just skipped just to get to that one, because every other news is going to be happy news for the most part. Okay, so recently we were having a conversation maybe 2 episodes ago about me not necessarily buying anything. Right, that,
You bought your
that was a
shoes.
thing. I buy shoes. I really like shoes. I like certain kind of sneakers, that kind of thing. So I was considering, new tech, and I was trying to figure out if I was going to get anything or not. But this past week, we caved, we gave in, and we picked up the Samsung Galaxy S9s. There was a buy one get one free, which was an amazing thing. And while I'm thinking about it, they threw in Netflix for free as long as we have the service. It's not a year promotion, so as long as we have the service with T-Mobile, Netflix will be paid for by them. Okay, which is amazing. Okay, they have this kickback thing. So if we stay within the um, megabytes, whatever, threshold, underneath that threshold, you get the kickback, $10 per line, right? So you have that, and obviously the buy one get one free, and so the numbers made sense to us. We decided to get the phones. I must say that I am really impressed with this phone. Okay, so it was between the Pixel 2 and the 9. And the reason that the Pixel 2, if I remember correctly, it does not come with a headset, right? It's not bundled with a headset. I'm not sure if it has a 3.5 millimeter jack. I may be wrong. We can look that up. But in terms of the package itself, right, of the S9, there's no complaints for me. In the store, I was configuring my apps and stuff like that, but we can get into all that in a little bit. But initial thoughts on S9, Daniela, and I'll cover and answer any questions you may have to
I'm
the best of my
jealous.
ability. Why?
Okay, so did you get the S9 or the S9 Plus?
No, S9.
This S9. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm
Yeah.
still jealous.
Why do you say that?
Because I love Samsung phones. I love the Galaxy series. I have the S7 right now, and I didn't pay for it fully outright. At the
Right.
time that I got my S7, they they still were going through that phase where they didn't have the unlimited data. And so the
Right.
people who were grandfathered in to have that still had it. But if you made any changes whatsoever to your plan, you lost out on it and you had to be on that. So that's when I got my S7. It was around that time
Hmm.
frame. And obviously when I needed to upgrade because I had the S4 and I ended up putting on and having a monthly payment on it because I couldn't afford the paying the $700-800 or whatever it was at that point for the S7. I
Right.
just recently made my last payment because it was like a 2 year payment plan thing of whatever
Right.
gets
Yeah.
added to your
Absolutely.
bill.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
the S9 came out and I just seriously finished paying off my S7. I want the
Yeah.
S9
Because
so badly because it looks so nice. I'm happy with my S7, but and it looks amazing to me. And then I put it next to the S9. I'm like, "Oh my God, that even looks even more amazing."
yeah. So the thing with the phone itself is because I had the six for a long time, and you know, like you're saying, you're on the payment plan for it for the 2 years, and I had the six. I think in 2015. I think that's when it was released, and I had it ever since 2015 until now. So they were, with the exception of the Echo, which is still here, which is not my phone, but it's still here. I'll just say that, right? So you have the Echo, the S6, and then the S9s, right? So we did the payment plan for it, but we plan to add the like additional funds to pay it off early. So like, add a little bit more to the actual payment itself on the phones themselves. And where was I going with that? The fact between the 6 and the 8, anything that was wrong on the phones that they wanted to make changes to, they perfected it in the 9, right? So you have the type C, you have the jack, the 3.5 millimeter jack. You have a nice screen. I think it's like 5.8 or something like that. The plus is like a 6.2 or something like that. You have the expandable storage if you need it. It comes with 64 gigs of storage. Mega, if you like cloud storage, they give you extra 50 gigs. So if you have Mega 50 gigs, and then this phone is 64 gigs, and then Box gives you storage, so you get another additional storage. Then Drive gives you storage, so you get storage from there. So you get Dropbox gives you storage, so you get storage from there. So you don't necessarily need like a 128 gigabyte device, unless you want to have it that way. But there's so much cloud storage that are really good, especially Mega, that gives you 50 gigs free. I don't think I'm going to run out of space. And even the photos, when you take photos, you can clear your device and have your pictures in the cloud if that's your thing. I understand it's not everybody's thing, but I'm not really concerned about that. And even the ability to disable all the bloatware, which I did on my phone, and use Datally to make sure that I stay under the threshold. So whenever I'm on a Wi-Fi, the Datally application locks everything that I'm not using, so it doesn't pull internet from them, and it only uses the internet from the app that I'm using at the time. So if you don't have Datally installed on your phone, definitely consider doing that because it does save you megabytes. So that's really cool. So aside from all those different things, and putting on the Pixel launcher on the phone, and just using it as I've used my previous phones, battery life is amazing. I mean, there's so much good to say about it, and so far it's been a really dope experience. Once I configured it to the way I like it, which is really boring.
Which is really boring.
Yeah.
Um, you know what I realized, and one of the new features I think in there is that that translate, the photo translator.
Mm.
So you can use the camera, and it should be a. Let me go and see what it's actually called in here. I know I saw it as one of the features, and it's not something that I think would. Here it goes. Camera that can instantly read your eyes can't. Get a real time translation when you need it. Live translation lets you see the world in a new way. It's an available function and features that may vary by country. So I think it's interesting that kind of now that's almost kind of built into our phones are slowly being transitioned to be a normal thing. I know that there's apps that you can download for this feature, but it's
Right.
just not native to the phone itself. I find that interesting only because I know that overseas, like in Japan, which I guess it makes sense to have it there, a lot of their phones already have that for years. I don't understand why we didn't have that personally. Because
Yeah,
I
it's
know when my coworkers go overseas, since it's international, our phones don't work over there. They end up like renting temporary phones, and that's in there for them. And I know a lot of friends who are from Japan or the Philippines and their phones, and they coming over here for vacation. Their cell phones already have that just as a normal function.
mm, it's I'm still learning so much. So we're just doing like, initial impressions and stuff like that. I definitely want to mention the headphones that it comes with are AKG earbuds. And AKG is a really, really good brand. So the fact that they partnered up with AKG to put that brand in the box, I think is amazing. And they sound pretty good too. So you have that. It also comes with the adapter, the USB Type C to standard USB. I guess for different connections that you're trying to do when you're pulling data and stuff like that. So the package itself, from the AKG to the phone itself to the plugs that the charger, obviously, quick charge is really good. And we got the cases right away, literally to ship the next day, or it felt like the next day. Maybe it was 2 days. The Spigen case for it. So that was a solid case. I like the slim cases that are considered commuter cases, and not necessarily like a one with a kickstand or anything like that. I just like the straight, simple type cases. So we did all that. So overall, in terms of speed, you know, uh, shutting down all the bloatware apps, getting 1.4 gigs back of RAM once you shut down all the bloatware apps. It's really good. It's really, really, really good. So if that's something someone is considering, I definitely say uh, pick it up. What's going on, Aaron? Pick it up if you can. Run the numbers if they make sense to you. If you have T-Mobile, right now it's buy one get one free. If you add an extra line, if you plan to add an extra line anyway, it's not a bad deal. So really having a lot of fun with it. I don't plan to root it right now because Google Pay gets blocked, I think, if you root the phones these days. So I think I'm just going to leave it right now with the bloatware um, off. But in order for me to do system updates, I have to reactivate the bloatware, do the system updates, and then shut down the bloatware again. But I don't mind doing that. That's doesn't mean anything at this stage. That's just to get the performance I need. I think it's okay to do that.
I think for me, I love all the new updates and upgrades that gets as you get new versions and stuff like that. I always look forward to that. But it's also like the tiny things that weirdly get me excited to want to try out. So I gotta ask you, on top of that, with the camera, you can create your own personalized AR emoji stickers. Did you make
Yep.
fun of yourself?
I did not. I did not. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And by way of an emoji, because I know my wife, she did that and she sent me, like a emoji from the Hangouts thing. And I was like, wow, that's really dope. So you would definitely have a lot of fun with that for sure. And, like you said, little things like that is really cool. I know Bixby is, is a assistant that some people like, some people don't like. I don't think I'll use it because I'm so Googled out right now. Um, so I'm gonna be using the Google Assistant, Google Home, that kind of a thing. And I mean, simple screen, black screen. Um, I don't remember the previous version of the what was it before? Oh, marshmallow icons, black background, pixel launcher. I'm very simple when it comes to that. I don't like all that extra colorful stuff. But I just want the power. I think that's really what I wanted all along. The last couple of, I would say the last year and a half, I'm like, okay, I need the power. The Echo kind of filled that in between, and then now it's time to make a change. So that's a
Okay, so
song.
so this is a
It's Michael
personal thing. What
Jackson.
is your data limit, anyways?
Download for
Your data limit, like
the data limit. Was it 4 or 5? I don't know what it is because I don't pay attention to it because I jump from Wi-Fi to Wi-Fi, so I never really. And then I do the Wi-Fi calling, which is really good. And then since Google is getting ready to beta test that, which is perfect, so once that comes out, that's going to be even better. I don't know. I can get the number and then share it, but I have Wi-Fi here, Wi-Fi at the church, Wi-Fi at my in-laws. I'm Wi-Fi everywhere. Optimum Wi-Fi is mostly where I go. Especially on the train line and stuff like that. And then going to like Starbucks, I jump on the Wi-Fi. But as far as doing banking stuff, I do it on the Wi-Fi's that I trust. But outside of that, I'm always on Wi-Fi. So between that, using Datally, and sometimes I'll have the charger here and there since the battery is really good.
so
I'm not worried about
you've
the
never gone over it?
cap.
You never accidentally or ever been a worry to you?
One time I may have gone over in the last couple of years. Like it's rare,
Man.
you know. It's really rare, and I think that, and I can't overemphasize the Datally app. It's really good, and I think that if you're listening right now, whether you're on the chat or you're listening on the podcast itself, and you have the option to download Datally, you should download that because that's going to save you a lot. And it's a Google app, and I think it also helps with managing, right? It manages the the data a lot for you, where you don't even have to think about it. So, for example, if I open up Hangouts and I'm getting ready to talk to you, the only app consuming data at that time is Hangouts. Everything else is shut off, is locked. So whether it's 80 to 90 apps, it'll say something like 80 to 90 apps are locked right now, and all you're using is the Hangouts. So while I'm physically typing the message back to you on Hangouts, that's what I'm using for data. And if I close it, then everything is locked. Then if I open up email, then it's ready to consume the data for that. So not all the apps aren't on at the same time when you're using Datally, which is the beauty of it. So you're saving data, and the app is doing most of the work for you the way it's designed. So I like that.
Aaron says he's always on Wi-Fi. You have to download a lot of stuff and watch a lot of Netflix while off Wi-Fi. And Reset Live says the only time I ever go over is when I'm traveling by car. So bless
Right.
your hearts for all of that because I use about almost 90 to 100 gigs worth of data every month.
I'm sorry, repeat that again. 90 to what?
100 gigs of data on my phone
For
alone.
what? On your phone.
On my phone, just my phone. So okay,
Why?
I had to ask because it's something that I have unlimited data, so I don't really necessarily pay
Seem
attention to this. But
okay.
here there's not a lot of options for where you can pick up Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Um,
Oh,
so sorry about
at
that, Aaron.
all?
We totally see it. We see your things. We see your things. Well, there is. Like I have Time Warner Cable, and they have their own or Spectrum. They have their free Wi-Fi, but that's few and far between. Like I know I have free Wi-Fi from my cable provider, my internet provider, and my post office.
Okay.
Um, I don't know why I'd be at my post office that I would need Wi-Fi. I know Starbucks has it. I know Burger King has it. These are locations that I don't really necessarily frequent. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hit that. Frequent a whole lot. I don't have it at
Right.
work. There's no free Wi-Fi at work. So, and I want to say that if I'm not at home, where I can get my Wi-Fi at home, obviously, I'm at work or I'm on the road where I don't.
Right. So what are
So,
you doing for you said how much? 90 to what?
90 to 100 gigs.
How though? Like what are you doing?
Streaming a lot.
That must be anime. A good portion of that has to be anime.
No, it actually isn't.
I'm
It
it's
isn't.
not.
It's not.
So what is it?
Like,
Netflix?
no, because Netflix, the thing is, I'll download, when I'm at home, you can download movies or TV series so that you can watch it off of, like, offline. It won't require any. So you can download it locally to your phone for X amount of days or whatever. If I'm not watching Netflix or something like that, it's usually I have Twitch up or I have Spotify. Um,
Right.
and that's kind of it.
Okay. So check this out, right? Cuz I think the month probably the period for us just rolled over, right? And listen to the difference in this, right? So it seems like I talk more on the phone than my wife does, right? Maybe at this stage, according to what I'm looking at right now. So 18 minutes already of unlimited, right? And I have 27 minutes. Okay. She sent two texts ever since the rollover. I sent nothing so far, right? She's done 170.32 megabytes, 170.32 megabytes already. I've done 16.31, right? So between the Wi-Fi's and the Datally and that kind of a thing, I think that all that helps. I think okay, so I'm curious to see once you install Datally how your phone how much data how the data is going to be from you're saying 90 to
Okay.
100.
So
I think we should
mine,
do that.
mine, as of today, I'm looking at mine. This is only for my account. Um, since March 27th, which is when it refreshed. So what is that? 12 days, 11 days. Today's April 8th. I have used 43 gigs. And it gives me a breakdown.
What do you mean 43 gigs? Do you know how much that is? That's insane.
I am a consumer of the internet. So according to this,
No, but
my
what
data
are you
uses, okay,
doing?
well, this it breaks it down. So according
Okay.
to the breakdown of these 43 gigs, 30% of it is web. So I'm going to assume whatever I look up on my browser on my phone. 27% of it is social apps.
27 is social?
So my social apps that I have on my phone is Instagram, Talon for
All right.
Twitter, Snapchat, and
Okay.
yeah, there.
So
9%
Daniela,
is video, 9% is audio, 8% is gaming, 6% is
wow.
messages, 2% is downloads, 2% navigation, and 1% chat.
Okay,
That is
so
what
let
consists of
me
my
get
breakdown.
this.
Yes.
Okay, so let me get this straight, right? So are you going over with this 90 to 100 gigs?
No, my thing is unlimited.
Okay, fair enough. And okay, so I want to see what the numbers are. Like, can you install Datally? Is Datally
Yeah,
an option for
I
you
can
to install?
probably download that.
Yeah, I'll send you a link to that. I want to see what the numbers, if the numbers change from what you just mentioned. This is 396 to, I definitely want to see that a week or two out.
You can tell that
Or
I have my phone with me a lot because you're talking about 27 minutes of talking. And now, mind you, this is from the March 27th is when it wipes out. I've
right.
used my
Okay,
phone for
so
277 minutes in phone calls, and I've sent 527 text messages.
okay. Oh, so take for instance today, right?
Yeah.
I emailed you earlier, and then I sent a text, and we didn't talk until here. The show itself. So most of the time we're texting anyway. So I'm jumping
But
from Wi-Fi to Wi-Fi. Go ahead.
but Google Hangouts wouldn't be considered a text message on my phone.
No, no, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. You're right. Because I don't text you on your actual
Oh
your
yeah.
your number. We usually use Hangouts. We do the phone thing. We do here, that kind of thing. So that would still be part of the data itself. But I think that the way the phone is managing the data consumption, Datally is making sure that I'm not using data just to use data. It's intentional in the app that I'm actually using, and it's making sure that app is unlocked while the other ones are not. So I want to see once you install that if the numbers change dramatically based on what you have opened and what you don't have open. Now it doesn't necessarily close apps; it just locks them from using data if you're using one active one. And I think I like that feature of it. So it should be the Daily Show, whatever. Shouldn't rename this.
And I think anybody that's listening is just shocked by my data consumption. And this is why.
Insane.
And you know what's funny? What I love is I love seeing the reaction when I go into Verizon, because that's my provider. And they'll be like, "Do you really need all the unlimited data?" And they try to switch my plan on me. And they'll look at my account and they'll see it and they're
Right.
like, "Yeah, you need to keep that unlimited."
Yeah, yeah, please. Please keep it unlimited. Uh so yeah, so that's it's been the daily show today. So let's go to Okay, so yeah, so essentially the Galaxy S9 is really dope. If you're able to check it out, please do. Right now with T-Mobile, depending on where you are, I don't know if it's at international, it's global. This particular promotion, buy one get one free. Just prior to this promotion, they had a buy one get one at a discount if you trade in your device, which we missed that one. I don't know if we missed it intentionally, but I'm glad it worked out the way it did. So that kind of thing, I really enjoy it. It is, a 9 out of 10 device, right?
Be
For
more
me,
jealous.
I think it's great, and I think if you can, you should check it out.
I
I think
will.
you'll love it.
Well, no. I think I'm going to enjoy having smaller or having no monthly payments on it for a bit. Because the seven, I
Right,
have the S7 and I still love it, and I'm not having experiencing any issues with it being slower or giving me any problems whatsoever. Knock on wood, because I've been having bad problems with tech. So I think I'm just
right,
gonna rock this for a bit longer. Usually, I'm the type of person that will wait until my phone like it's noticeable that the performance is lacking because apps or anything that's coming out, it just can't keep up. So until
I got
then,
a shame.
I'm just gonna hold on to it.
You're just gonna hold on to it. All right, I'm gonna send this to you because I want to see your numbers. Check your Hangouts, Daniela.
Yeah, I got it.
Let
Look
me
at
know if
that.
you
I
got.
have it installed. I do.
Oh, wait, wait, wait. What do you mean you have it
I
installed?
just installed it.
Just now?
Yeah, just
Oh,
talking to
I
you.
thought you had it installed and you were still getting over 90 and 100.
No.
Oh my goodness. Okay. That would have been a whole nother thing.
You're gonna send me
Okay.
to like get some help or therapy on my phone
I
usage?
don't know. I don't know what I was going to do, but that's just insane. Okay. So, yeah. So that's pretty much what's going on there. You know what? Where are we right now? We are S9. So let me put Datally here since I talked about it so much. We spent a good amount of time here. Data, LLY. Um, that's how it's spelled. And we should be good. Okay, so a couple of other things. Black Panther passes Titanic at the box office. Movie Pass acquires movie phone. Amazon's ambitious Lord of the Rings series will reportedly be at least 5 seasons long. Any comments on those things?
Oh boy, where are we? I'm just trying to figure
We're
out my
we're
own phone.
we're back at we're
I
back
wish
at
okay, I wish we had
we're back at
a movie
90 to
pass.
100 gigs.
I know. I'm
Where we at?
looking forward to this Lord of the Rings series. I don't have as much experience with Amazon's production of things other than I think I've mentioned it. The only thing I really watched from them was Men in the High Castle, which I really liked. I feel like I'd be super confident if Netflix announced that they were gonna do a Lord of the Rings series because I
Okay.
feel they do no wrong. But um, seeing that Amazon's doing it, I am looking forward to it
Right.
because I do enjoy the Lord of the Rings movies and the books. And it kind of gives me a reason to check out their library a bit more because, as much as I love using Amazon, their music and their video sections are two areas that I really don't pay attention to. I almost forget that it exists. I forget that they offer those services, even though I do pay for the Prime. I always forget about it. It's just, it never sticks out to me.
Okay, so hold on, just to make sure. Did we address the Aaron comment? Yeah, because maybe the browser or email stays active while she's on social or streaming apps. I just want to make sure we get that in there.
Yeah, it's possible that it probably does. I mean, I always do a close app all when I'm not using
Okay.
anything, so I don't know if that makes a difference.
Yeah. I think yeah, I definitely want I can almost guarantee because you also get a daily breakdown. Why are we going back on daily? You also get a daily breakdown of what you do anyway, that kind of thing. All right, so Amazon's Lord of the Rings, you did talk about that. I don't have any additional thoughts on that. Adnan Syed, the man at the center of Serial's 2014 investigation into the murder of high schooler Hyman Lee, will get a new trial. NBC Washington reports. Any comments on that?
um, no,
Did you hear the whole Serial thing? Did you consume that content when it came up?
no, I did not.
Okay. I consumed a good portion of it, and it sounded very interesting the way the the evidence was and the time of day, where people were, and how people talked about it. It was a really interesting case. And apparently they're going to do a new trial because it sounds like he's innocent. I don't know, but that's what it sounds like based on the information and lack thereof. But there was a lot of data. That whole case and reporting and the narrative and the narrator, all that was well done. And I think that if you have an opportunity to check that out, definitely consider that if you're listening or watching or whatever the case might be. Serial was really, really good. I think Serial uh, put podcasts on the map in a different way. Podcast was always on the map ever since it was its inception, if you want to say that. But Serial did something different to bring some more of an acceptance to it, like the Drake and Fortnite thing with a different level of validation, if that makes any sense, right? um anyway, that kind of a thing. So if you can, if that's your thing, definitely check it out. If you don't like crime drama stuff, don't worry about it. But it's a very interesting case if even if you read the reports about it. Yeah, that kind of a thing. Before we move to video games, any comments or any thoughts?
I do, and I should probably add these things to it. Are you ever planning on watching Ready Player One in the movie theaters?
No.
You ever plan on reading it?
Reading it, no. I read other things. I don't read. I don't read movie stuff. I don't read implementations that turn out to be movie stuff later on. I'll probably wait till it reaches Alliance theaters, and then I'll probably check it out. But as of right now, probably not.
Okay, because I gotta watch Ready Player One, and I love that movie so much.
So you want to give reactions then?
Yeah, I can do that. I can
All right,
do
so
that.
let's go. Hold
And
on,
I
let me
will
go
do
up
it in the
to.
best way of not giving any spoilers or anything that are ruining it for anybody. Because I don't think
All right,
I
I'm
think
gonna
I
add
can
it
do
to
that.
the show notes. But go ahead. So how was it?
So I gotta watch. I finally got to watch it this past Thursday. I was holding off for it more so. Well, I had an opportunity to watch it early before it came out, but I got tied up with other things and I missed that. So it was more so. I didn't think I was gonna watch it in theaters because I have this general rule in my household that my son needs to read the book first before we do that, and he was just taking way too long, and I wanted to watch this so badly because I love the book so much, and I'm glad that I brought it in and or brought all of us in to watch it because neither my boyfriend, neither my son has even. Well, my boyfriend didn't even start reading the book. My son only read the first two chapters. I thought he read more than that. He only read two. And I think it did a really good job. It's not going to beat the book. It was a pretty good translation from the book. Uh,
Quick
but I'm
question:
one of those. Yeah, what's up?
do they ever beat the book? Any
No, they
of
don't.
these?
They don't.
Okay,
That's what I was gonna say. Is that it's kind of expected that if you're gonna watch a movie adaptation, that the book is always gonna be better because nothing can ever beat your imagination. The way that you picture things and how it's described in so much detail in the book, and you read it, your brain can it's like it just goes off into another world and it cannot be translated that same exact way into movie form. However, for this one, it tried it a lot, considering it is about things that we grew up with. A lot of the movies, like you had a lot a Steven Spielberg movie, like representation in there, which I think is very interesting to be the director. So you have Steven Spielberg who directed uh, Ready Player One, and then you have his movies in there that he's directing a movie about bringing back movies that he directed. I think that's a very interesting
that's
like
awesome.
Spielberg inception in there. But it did change quite a bit from the book and it removed some stuff, which I can understand because you have this time constraints and I wouldn't expect them to break it off into two movies. That really wouldn't make sense unless you're really that money hungry. It's happened before, but I wouldn't expect it with this. Being that it is also about being in a video game world called the Oasis, you have to automatically assume that there's going to be a lot of CG in it, and the CG that was put into there was absolutely amazing. It was beautiful. It wasn't cheesy. It wasn't corny. It didn't like feel like it didn't fit into there, and it was almost like
What
watching a
movie
really
compares
good
to it?
Avatar as far as CG goes, I would say.
Okay,
But it was almost like watching really good oh my goodness, I had the word in my head. Um oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, what's the word when you're playing a video game and then it stops and you have to watch the story? Oh, what's that
cutscene.
word? Yes, there you go. It's like watching a really good cutscene in a video game where you're just like in awe about how good it looks and you just watching this video game play out into your head. I felt like a lot of the pacing was a little bit weird. Well, more so in the last third of the movie, the pacing was a little bit weird. That's because they had some quite a bit of changes from what the book had. I wasn't exactly disappointed in it. Um, I guess it made sense when it coming from a movie standpoint and people who haven't read the book. I guess it actually kind of made sense to have it play out the way it did because if you stuck to how the way the book explained it, it adds on more to the movie, but at the same time it adds more time, but it doesn't add more value. So I walked away just in awe, and I loved it. And it had like 80s music in there, had a lot of 80s references. I mean, and it had like 90s cartoons. I loved the fight scenes. They were just so incredibly epic. And that if there was ever an MMO and it had something that was terrible, that you had this one clan that was dominating all of these servers, and to have everybody else that wasn't in that clan come together to take down, you know, this organization, this clan, which is IOI. Um, that was like incredibly cool. There was a Gundam fight scene, which is in the book, that
I like
played
Gundam.
out so well. I loved it. It was, even if it was just short, I thought that was so cool and badass. I love mechs and I love Gundams. Um, I think what really super made me happy about the film wasn't even in the film itself, is the moment that the credits ended. My son looked at me and he's like, "Oh my god, I love this movie. I need to finish this book."
Nice.
That was absolutely like perfect to me, because anything that would push my son's desire to read stuff, because mostly he reads manga, which I allow that and I consider that as reading because it's better. At least it's something. At least he's reading something. But to push him and promote him to want to read it, it did its job. It's perfect. And my boyfriend had that same feeling. He wants to go and read the book, so he's gonna read it after my son finishes it. Um, and I would even actually have this book. I might have bought it like later on, probably when this movie was announced. Um, but I actually got it in my Loot Crate box. I want to say like 2.5 years
Mm.
ago. And that's 2.5 years ago. I don't remember which Loot Crate box it was, but it was in there and it was for free. And it's definitely one of my favorite things that I got in my Loot Crate boxes in probably like 5 years.
Are they still doing the crate?
Mm-hmm. They have a lot of different types
Okay.
of Loot Crates now. So
Nice.
yeah, and I've been subscribed to Loot Crate. Yeah, I want to say 5 years. I think on my ID, my membership card, I am member number 3,600 and something. So
What?
that's a really long time. But this film is definitely, my son's like, we have to own this film on everything that we possibly can. He loved it. The movie references that they have in there, he wants to watch it. Even The Shining. They have a Shining reference in there, and he's like, I don't watch that. I'm like, are you sure? You don't watch The Shining?
Hmm.
Okay. And you're like, nah.
This is scary. The
No,
Shining
it's
is
fine.
Jack Nicholson, right?
Yes. But
That's
it
more of
was
a
so good.
thriller than scary stuff, right? From what I recall.
Um, yeah, it's like a thriller slash horror. I would consider it. I would put
Hmm.
it a little bit more in the horror. It's like a good mixture between the two. It's a good film that everybody should
Okay.
watch. But I loved it. I was excited there. I was a little bit nervous when I saw some things like in the trailers that were missing. But
Right.
I think more of the stuff, some of it, not only did it just not fit as far as storytelling, but I think some of it that was left out was due to licensing issues, because there's a lot of references to a lot of video games and movies and characters, not in just the US, but overseas. So I think there was some conflicts in licensing and being able to have that in there. And
Hmm.
I can understand that. It feels perfectly left out. Sucks. But I think if they had all of that, oh my goodness, the movie that they could have possibly made would have blown my mind. I, ah, man, I want to go back and watch it again.
That's
I don't,
good.
I don't
It's
think,
one book, right?
yeah, it's one book by
Okay.
Ernest
Not
Cline.
like Harry
So,
Potter,
no.
because Harry Potter was like
Seven.
5 to 7 books.
So,
Wow. Okay. So overall, was it a B? What would you give it if you had to give it something?
I'd give it an A minus, to be honest. Like, I know that's really high, but
That's high.
I loved it. I had such, it was okay. Here's the other thing about that, about the movie overall. It was a very nice family, lighthearted comedy movie, and it
Mm.
actually brought me back to when I used to watch movies as a kid, where you always had that feeling that things in the movies could be a huge possibility. And like I remember watching the never ending story and just loving the whole magic and mystery behind that and what it was doing in this book and the boy
Right.
and the princess and Atreyu and that that imagination and that feeling that that type of magic and fantasy can exist and just thinking where your imagination can go with it. And even movies like The Wiz, would I think it's Ben Savage, right? And it's one of those movies that as a kid it's about having this huge like game tournament and being there and making this huge scene about it and just being so in awe as a kid of like, oh my god, that is so cool. I like that can totally happen, which now it does. You
Mm.
have those game tournaments. That's what that movie kind of did for me. It brought me back, not just because it had so many references to stuff that I loved as a kid, but it also just brought me back because I had that enthusiasm of that mystery and that magic behind a film that I forgot that I lost a sight of as a kid.
Hmm.
Yeah, I really loved it. If that's pretty much just some of it
Nice.
all.
That sounds really, really dope. I'll wait. I'll wait. I usually wait for a lot of movies these days anyway. So, um, with the exception of Black Panther and stuff like that. That was just I think I needed to go see that. We are at okay, yeah. So we added Ready Player One. Okay, so then we'll jump into video game news. Also, we got Fortnite stuff. Fortnite Mobile, 15 million, which is insane. Niantic will pay nearly 1.6 million to settle a class action lawsuit surrounding a disastrous Chicago anniversary event that left roughly 20,000 attendees without access to the game. They had to come play. Any comments on those things?
Hmm. I didn't realize that Pokemon Go was still such a huge thing. I mean, I don't know. That's a lot of people. That's a huge blunder. Oh my goodness.
It's a lot of people.
But I feel like they can afford it. Same
Yeah,
time.
absolutely. Absolutely. One of your favorite games, Resident Evil 7, reached a new sales milestone, 5.1 million copies worldwide. Any comments on that?
Nope. If you haven't tried it, go out and
Nothing.
play it. Really
Word.
good. Really good.
No, thank you.
Oh,
you
come on.
you be so. I'm good on that. I'm good on that though. I'm okay. I'm okay. Ubisoft's cracking down on hate speech. I think it deals with Rainbow Six Siege. Any comments on those things?
I think that's almost becoming a nice little trend that I don't mind. It's not
It's
even
a
just
thing.
it is a thing. I mean, it's bad that it's only taken this long for them to come up with like, hey, maybe we should monitor our hate speech. But they're not the only company lately, as of recently in the past couple of weeks, that have been cracking down more and more. I mean, Xbox now has the bans for those messages that you're saying and hate messages and whatever it is. Twitch has been doing it with their updated services. Like it's slowly coming out that more and more. Uh, Service providers and companies and studios are implementing that into their structure to monitor that and bullying or threats and all those things. It's like finally now I feel that some jerks, some trolls are just going to be a little bit smarter about it, where they will limit their words in the sense of how they say something. Well, what they say and structure it more to how they say it to trigger people more, to upset them, to trick them into like screwing up and saying that one curse word or anything like that that will keep them banned, which is hard. So you have to be a little bit more careful about it. And as of
Right.
recently, I have to remind people that I'm playing with or that are streaming, um, how you react to something, especially on Twitch now with their updates in terms of services. How you react it, even if you're joking, even if it's like you're joking with people that you're playing with, someone's listening can be very easily offended by it and just report you. So you have
Right.
to just like, even if, yeah, there's no ill intentions behind it, just have to be careful about everything that you say.
Yeah.
I realize
That's where
that's
we are.
hard for some people.
Yeah. I think was it recently an announcer slipped or something like that?
Yeah.
Or
I can't remember his
it's
name
all over the
exactly,
place.
but yeah, yeah, a commentator accidentally slipped, and I don't know if it's accidentally slipped. I mean,
But notice what they're using as an excuse now. I don't know. I don't necessarily know if it's that the commentator used that as an excuse as well, but it's like a lot of them are saying, "Well, I had a couple of drinks." I think that's trending too, right?
yeah, and I was
From
like, that's not an
yeah,
excuse.
yeah. That's telling me more than you think you're not telling me. If you're telling me you had a couple of drinks, so what else are you thinking about? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think that's a terrible thing. So it's like basically you're saying like, if I want to see your true self, let me just slip you a couple and see
yeah,
what really comes out.
yeah, it's pretty interesting. So that's been happening. Divinity Original Sin intended as the name of the game, right? Based on what we're talking about. Divinity or Original Sin 2 coming to PS4. Free to play MMO Terra is a thing. Any comments on those things?
I've never played Terra before, but I think this is nice and refreshing to them because I think there's been slowly dying out a little bit. So coming to console now is a nice refresher to them because I think the hype is building up. I see a lot more people playing it. And it's nice for those games that were originally only PC. It's finally coming to console for. There's a lot of people who can't afford PC games. And when they can have it available to them on console and then people can play with their friends on console, great. And not only that,
Mm,
let's see, Twitch Prime for this month has something special going on for Terra as well. So there's celebration things. So if you have Twitch Prime or Amazon Prime and you link your account, I think you get like 14 or 15 days of the Head Start access to it, an elite status for that time period. I think you get a pet dragon and a purple plasma skin as well. So if you happen to be listening, you happen to have Twitch Prime, definitely go and get that. Link up your account and get that for free. Everybody likes free stuff.
nice.
And since I'm also talking
Word.
about it, we can add this. Since like my mind is on top of this, thinking about Twitch Prime, and we can add this to our show notes too, because I don't think it's in there. But since it's on my mind, um, Twitch
So
Prime has
Twitch.
been adding on some like nice free games for the month.
Okay, so Twitch Prime. Let me know what I'm writing here. Twitch Prime.
Free games. They this month I think is the start of them
Free games. All right,
adding
so that's in there.
more content. So it's like they've been known for giving maybe one free game every other month. If not, you'll get like a free skin for a game
Right. Right. Right.
or
Right.
some mount or something like that. So they started adding free games, which I think is absolutely amazing. I'm trying to see what the free
Yeah.
games are.
Yeah, I linked
On
it. I think we talked about it recently, but it was not as in depth, if I remember correctly.
yeah, like
But I added it.
they're definitely making it more worthwhile. So it's kind of like following along with your PS Plus and your Xbox Gold. They had
Yeah,
SteamWorld Dig 2, King's Way, Tales from the Borderlands, Dub Wars, and Tokyo 42.
nice.
And I think this is also another way that, since you brought it up earlier, how they're trying to encourage their use of the Twitch desktop app. I don't think
Right.
anybody really likes that app, period. I don't like that app. I have it, but I only
Yeah.
had it because I only had that app just so I could play Breakaway. That's it. They I believe that they originally bought Curse because that's Curse is a direct competitor to Discord. And now that Twitch acquired them, it has the option to make, you know, your own server with your chat and build your community. I don't
Hmm.
don't.
I
So
used it once just to see what it was, and I haven't used it since. I don't recall.
their implementation of it so much. I mean, the foundation's there. I just think it's just poorly executed, and I Discord. That's kind of it. But I well now that I get free games, okay, I'll use your app more often.
Right. That's
That's
the
kind of
intent
it.
right there.
Yeah, kind of it.
So you have that Chasm launches for PlayStation 4, PS Vita, and PC this summer. It looks really good. The art, um, I love the art for Chasm. So definitely look into that if you like artsy games. Looks really, really dope.
Man, it took
Okay,
forever for
so
this
we
game to
talked,
finally come out.
yeah. So we talked a little bit earlier about Boss Key. There was a brief mention earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Boss Key stepping back from Lawbreakers was a tournament style third person shooter, or was it both?
Lawbreak is first
I think
person, I believe. It's only first
first
person.
person. Okay, thank you. First person. I really liked it. I really, really liked it. It was tough to play because of all the gravity, different things that you can do in the game. But as far as the gameplay itself, it was really intense for the times that I did play it, and then put it on the shelf, and I haven't really revisited since. So they're stepping back, they're moving into, another direction. They're not necessarily banning the game. They will support the game at its current state, which means that it's not going to get anything else. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I don't. I won't say that they won't get anything else because they're changing it to a free to play game now. So, and I think they're hoping that will generate interest back into it because now it's going to be free. More people would
Right.
like nobody wants to really pay for anything. So,
Nobody.
not just you, Andrew, nobody.
Nobody.
So more people will go give it a try, and maybe that was what was holding a lot of people back. Is I think some people will hold back on buying a game based off of the initial release of it, and if it does really well in the initial release, and people are like, yeah, I'll buy it, I'll jump onto it. That one did not. It it kind of came out, and that was it. There was no build up. There was no interest. There was no hype. There's like nothing, really. And that's sad. So nobody's gonna go and buy it. So maybe jumping to the free to play model will help them out. And I'm sure with that being said, they're probably gonna start implementing some kind of what did it say? Well, you could say microtransactions, but kind of maybe following along with maybe Fortnite's motto where there's stuff for you can buy. You can buy skins. And maybe that's how they'll generate some kind of income and start pulling more people in. I don't know. But it's nice to see that they're not completely dropping it. I mean, I'm sure they're going to start restructuring their internal departments because they have another game, another project that they're working on. So I don't know. I think that's their last ditch effort, to be honest.
Yeah. Sad, but still a dope game. Definitely check it out if you can. Street Fighter Miniatures board game on Kickstarter. Daisy relaunching on PC. Any comments on those things?
That board game thing kind of seems interesting. I don't guess. I think isn't that also be it was like founded by Angry Joe, which is another content creator on YouTube.
Mm.
It's cute. I love board games. Period. I'm not sure if I'll be getting this one because I still want the Resident Evil one that was on Kickstarter. I think we talked about that maybe I don't know. I want to say like 10 episodes ago. I still want that one. But the Street Fighter one looks definitely like really really cute and has different characters. And man, I want the Chun Li one. I'll just be honest. I just really want the Chun Li little miniature.
Chun Li. She's dope. So you have that Daisy. Do you thinking about it or no? Not
No,
even a
no,
thought
really.
process.
That's not even. It's not even my thoughts for me personally.
Okay, so you have that Shovel Knight 64. Shovel Knight is a great platformer. If you have not played Shovel Knight, definitely get it for a system. I wouldn't be surprised. I think they announced it for Switch. I think. I should check because that was a very broad and blanket statement. Hold on.
Very
Shovel
broadly.
Knight. Shovel Knight Switch. Hold on.
You
That's
getting
a
there?
search thing. Shovel Knight treasure trove for Nintendo Switch. Yes. Okay. Whew, that was close. All right. Yeah. So you have that. Definitely for Switch. It's for PlayStation. I believe it is for Xbox as well. It's definitely for PlayStation because I have it there. I have it for PS3 and PS4 because I think it was like a bundle thing. Shovel Knight is really good, so definitely check that out. So now it's for Commodore 64. Apparently, they had, talked about bringing out the game for Commodore 64, and here it is. Finally, they're doing it. Any comments on that?
It's not like you get to hear that name Commodore 64 a whole lot. It's a very tight niche
Yeah,
group there, very tight community, a very specific set of people, and I think that's really cool that they're making this happen.
yeah. Oh man, I think I. Okay, yeah, I definitely want to highlight something that I didn't mark for highlight, but man, okay. So Owlboy, 2D pixel art flying platformer, 2D pixel art flying platformer. That's coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on April 10th. And definitely want to talk about this game here, Raging Justice. Okay, Raging Justice. Okay, if you remember back in the side scrolling beat 'em up games, whether that's Streets of Rage or the one that included Hagar and those guys. Um, I can't even think of the name of that particular game. Final Fight, right? That 1, 2, and 3. I think there was three of those games. If you like those games and you remember Streets of Rage, then Raging Justice is definitely a game you should have on your radar. And that is like one of those games that has so much nostalgia in it, and it looks like it's really done very, very well. Just seeing exactly where that is. Um, there's definitely a trailer out for it. I think the trailer is about a minute and 4 seconds or something like that. But it's you get the idea once you see the trailer. It's really, really dope. Any comments on Raging Justice?
Oh, that's on my definitely to playlist. It is, and I'm
Okay.
excited. And I don't know why I didn't even just myself think about highlighting it too because I saw it there and I'm like, yes. I don't know why I didn't think
Yeah.
about like we should make a little thing to stick out on it more because that is super exciting to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be huge. I'm definitely looking forward to that. And you are too, which is dope. The next episode of Xbox inside Xbox, Microsoft's own smaller scale version of the Nintendo Direct. That thing, they're planning to talk about a big update of the backwards compatibility of the first Xbox. That is coming up on April 10th. Okay, so April 10th, that's that Tuesday. I'm gonna be off the grid Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But April 10th, 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to be watching a lot of stuff on the road, VOD, that kind of stuff. So I was hoping I can catch that live, but most likely I won't. um, that kind of a thing. But I definitely want to hear your thoughts about backwards compatibility for Xbox stuff. Daniela, what's up?
I don't get so excited about backwards compatibility. I don't know if I'm just missing something in that. It doesn't matter if it's Xbox or PlayStation, really. Um
Okay.
it's cool, especially if you still have the disc and you want to go back and play
Right.
it and you don't have to buy it again. I can't honestly sit here and think of a game right now, for the original Xbox at least, that has not
Mm-hmm.
been that it has either not been remade or remastered to be able to play on current gen now that I don't own. Like I can't think of one that I'm like, yeah, I've been really wanting to play this again. I don't. I can't. Can you?
Ninja Gaiden. Did you like those games?
Yeah, I did. But didn't they remaster that?
Probably. I'm looking at the shelf right now.
Like Ninja Gaiden is pretty much the only thing that I can think of maybe that was remastered.
Halo's done, redone, glossed over a couple of times. Yeah, there's a couple of gems there that I can't think of, but their list has gotten really, really long over the last year or two for backwards compatibility. If the big announcement is, I guess we can speculate, everything will be backwards compatible. That will be dope. Or you don't necessarily need to have the disc anymore to access them. That would be dope. That a good portion of the backwards compatibility games from the original Xbox, some of them will be free, some of them won't, or it's going to be, that kind of thing. That would be dope too. I don't know, but we're speculating.
Yeah, it's a lot of speculation. I'm like looking. Okay, maybe Jade Empire. I like Jade Empire. That was on the original Xbox. I don't know if there was a remaster of that one. Kind of skimming through the original Xbox library. Guess if you want to play like the most recent Soul Calibers, I mean Soul Calibur. I don't know.
Mm,
I'm like looking at it. I can't picture any of these games that I'm gonna be super excited that has backwards compatibility. Okay, maybe Half Life. There you go.
Half Life.
Maybe. But yeah, I'm seeing it.
Well, if you get the news before I do, definitely shoot me a text or something. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what that's going to be on Tuesday. So that's 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I may be around. I may not. I don't know yet, but we'll see. So that's what's going on with that. Couple of things before we wrap. Sam Fisher and Ghost Recon Wildlands. Any comments on that?
I know a lot of people that are super excited about that because it's the original voice actor that will be voicing Sam Fisher for this.
Nice.
So I know that they're super excited about that. I know all I know is Wildlands needs some kind of like push to.
And they need something.
It does. It's missing something because I don't see a lot of people going back and wanting to play it. To be honest, um, it's just missing some elements that
Right.
doesn't have people too jazzed about it right now. Not even me.
Yeah. Interesting. So Destiny is an interesting game at this season. I'll say that. They recently did the Go Fast update. They buffed all the weapons. They're making it a easier experience to complete the strikes and different things like that. It's sped up a tad bit. It is enjoyable. I really like it. They're also planning to do a summit, inviting different individuals from the community to really talk about the game, how they can make the game move forward in a way that we would love to see it. So basically, just turn Destiny 2 into Destiny 1, and everyone will be happy because a lot of individuals didn't realize how much of the grind was a core, experience in the game. But now that you have everything thrown at you, you know where everything is, there's nothing bringing you back to the actual game. That took its toll on the game and it became stale really, really quick. So they're trying to make adjustments, big adjustments, whatever is coming up in the foil, and the fall. That should be interesting. If they mess up with that, then it could be a wrap for them. So whatever they're trying to do in between that and then, we'll have to see. Any comments on Destiny to Summit updates and things like that?
Well, it's definitely your forte, but I find it interesting that you have a community who complains, I don't want this, I don't want this, I want this, I want this, and then they get it, and then, oh, wait, I do want that. Oh, I do want
Right.
that too. Oh, why'd you listen to us?
Right.
And then they have
Exactly.
this summit and they invite up. It's just, and you get what you want, and then you realize how unhappy you are, and they had the formula right the first time.
Right. So the thing now is, as I was just thinking about it earlier, I still love the game. I want to see the changes that will make me excited again, and the fact that I not too long ago put in Destiny 1 just to be excited of some of the weapons that were back then that really felt very exotic versus some of the guns that you get in Destiny 2. That was very telling for me at that point. But we'll have to see what they do. Another thing, stay tuned and see. But I don't know. Go fast update was cool. You can finish the strikes faster. They're trying, and that's all we can ask. So you have that. Really excited for the next one. I know already how you feel about it, Daniela, but I'll mention it anyway. So this one, Spyro Reignited Trilogy. Daniela, Purple Dragon. Any thoughts on that?
Barney?
Okay, I'm done. Okay. Last but not least,
No,
we
it's
will
fine.
move
It's I think
on.
it's cool. You know what? I might not be like a fan of it, and it probably just missed me, and it wasn't. It's I'm not gonna expect every game to be tailored towards my interests, but it's a beautiful thing when you have something that like Spyro, like Conkers that people just love and they get so excited for. Like it's crazy how incredibly hyped people get. And it makes me feel bad in a way because I'm like, what did I miss? There's just like another thing. There's like some element that I'm missing that I don't get. It's kind of like Kingdom Hearts, and I know I get a lot of like shocking faces from people when they and I tell them like, yeah, I don't really get Kingdom Hearts. I don't like it.
Right.
It's the same face I get when they're like, oh, I don't like Jax. Oh, I don't like Spyro. When they're like, what is wrong with you? So I'm happy for the people that are excited for this. Same like I'm happy for you and Spider Man.
Yes. I mean, isn't the most amazing game ever right now that we're about to get
Okay,
on the 7th?
I as much as you know, me and the history of Spider Man, like same thing with the movie or not the movies, but the video games, the originals, the older ones.
Right. Right.
Looking at the clips it gives the videos of this, oh my
Yes.
goodness. Like it
Yes.
looks so good, and
Oh
like
man.
not even just the mechanics and the physics of how he moves, the
Yes.
environments that were in there, like when he's swinging between the
Oh,
buildings. So
so amazing.
there's this one part where like they had the steam vent, and this is like
Oh
the tiniest detail, like if you really super focused in on it, but he like swung through the steam of that vent, and just like the little wisp of the the steam or whatever that is that was
man.
going with it was like,
Oh.
wow, that is so good.
Man.
And like the reflections off of the windows, like when he went, especially when he like swung around the corner of that alleyway, just seeing the
Oh my
reflections
goodness.
move with them, and just it just enhanced visually
So
about how
good.
fast he's like traveling and he's going. It was really cool.
So good. I mean, it is going to be really, really dope.
I can
Really,
definitely
really
I
dope.
can definitely tell that it's going to be one of the titles that it looks better, and like, well, I think everything will look better, but you almost need that PS4 Pro to fully get that. Oh my god,
Oh
this is
man,
a beautiful game experience.
so good, so good. Just watched that video. I was just like, wow, this is where we are. This is where we are. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to Spider-Man. That's going to be September 7th. Looking forward to that. And that was the last item we had on episode 396. But definitely, Daniela, we're going to briefly talk about 397, right? So 397, um, as it stands right now, the percentage of me being there is very, very slim. Because this week there's a lot going on this week on the IRL side for me. So that I'm going to leave in good hands. So Daniela this week will be helming 397, and I'm really excited about that.
Wow, you're excited for me just to do this alone? It makes me so nervous.
I'm excited. I think you're gonna be dope. I think you're gonna be dope. So 397 is going to be 98%. Um, yeah, Daniela. It's gonna be 98%, Daniela.
That'll just be me. So you can
Yeah,
expect episode 397 just to be of me and my thoughts alone, but I hope you can join me live in chat.
word,
I'll bounce up ideas so I don't feel fully alone and we can have a conversation live together.
word,
The
word. So if
97.
I'm able, yeah. So I'm excited for you. If I'm able to pop in there, I will pop in and chat. Um, it's gonna be an interesting week. I'll say that. So that's really what's going on. So thank you guys for being with us for episode 396. I definitely look forward to 397. Daniela, close us out.
All right. Thank you for watching us or listening to us on the show. Definitely, if you can, join our community on Discord. You can find all of our information there at theshowradio.info/Discord. Join us in there and we can continue the topics conversation. Or if there's something that you would ever want to bring up to us or have us talk in the next show, definitely post it in there. If not, you can always email us, leave us feedback and or tips, or you know what, fact check us because we're not always right. At community, no, that'd be correct. Community at theshowradio.info. You can also never miss a show and subscribe to us on your favorite podcatchers at theshowradio.info/listen. You can watch us on Twitch and follow us there at twitch.tv/theshowradio live. And for all of our show notes, even the ones that we added on the whim there, you can check it out on our website at www.theshowradio.info. And until then, for 397, which you'll have me soloing it. So then, have a great week, and we'll see you then. Bye, guys.